Here's a deep, painful in detail analysis of Chelsea's 1-0 win over Benfica in the UEFA Champions League, September 30, 2025, breaking the game down tactically, psychologically, and structurally. Chelsea 1, Benfica 0. UEFA Champions League, September 30, 2025. Match context. This clash carried its own subtext. Enzo Maresca's Chelsea still in a period of tactical evolution, searching for fluency and rhythm, against Jose Mourinho's Benfica, an emotionally charged reunion of a manager returning to England in Europe's grandest competition. The story of the match wasn't dominated by brilliant attacking play but rather by accidents, resistance, and survival. Chelsea rode their luck early, benefited from a defensive lapse, and then lived nervously after João Pedro's sending off. Mourinho's Benfica huffed and puffed but couldn't find the incision to break a resolute, if fragile, Chelsea defensive block. 2. Lineups vs tactical setups. Chelsea, Maresca, 4-2-3-1. Back 4, Gusto and Cucurella played high and wide to stretch Benfica. Chalobah and Badiashile stayed conservative, rarely stepping into midfield. Double pivot, Caicedo sat deepest, screening Pavlidis. Fernandes operated box-to-box, driving ball progression. Attacking band, Buonanotte and Garnacho drifted inward. Neto was Chelsea's outlet on the right, while George, nominal striker, moved between lines but offered limited hold-up play. Benfica, Mourinho, 4-2-3-1. Defensive line, Otamendi plus Antonio Silva held the central axis, with fullbacks Dahl and Dedic tasked with containment more than overlap. Midfield, Rios and Baranecchia formed the double pivot, designed for solidity, but their positional awareness betrayed them in the opening goal. Attack, Lukebakio plus Sudakov tucked inside to create overloads. Pavlidis spearheaded, but service was inconsistent. Orsons floated as a hybrid playmaker/second runner. Both teams mirrored each other, creating a chess match of man-to-man responsibilities in midfield. 3. First half, the breakthrough. Chelsea's early tempo was sharp, orchestrated by Fernandes, who pressed aggressively and looked to play vertical passes into Neto. The breakthrough, however, was born out of chaos rather than craft. Neto's attempted cross was miscued. Garnacho chased what seemed a lost ball, showing determination. His flickback forced Richard Rios into an awkward clearance, which looped into his own net. 16. It was a cruel irony. Benfica's midfield enforcer, meant to stop danger, created the decisive moment. From then, Chelsea were content to sit in a compact 4-4-2 out of possession, Buonanotte joining George up top, while Garnacho and Neto dropped deeper. Mourinho's Benfica responded with possession-heavy but sterile football, lots of lateral recycling, minimal penetration. Pavlidis was left isolated against Chalobah and Badiashile, while Lukebakio's drifts inside clogged central zones rather than opening wide channels. 4. Second half, decline and suffering. The contest changed after half-time. Chelsea's first half confidence waned. Chelsea's flaws: George couldn't hold the ball, Neto grew wasteful, and Buonanotte disappeared under pressure. Fernandes was forced deeper, reducing Chelsea's ball progression. Benfica's adjustments: Mourinho instructed Dahl and Dedic to push slightly higher, stretching Chelsea's block. Sudakov found more space between Caicedo and Chalobah. The turning point was João Pedro's red card, 62. Already on a yellow, his reckless high boot left Chelsea with 10 men. Maresca was forced to retract Neto into midfield, leaving Chelsea with almost no outlet in attack. From then on, it was attack versus defense. Benfica introduced fresh legs around 73 to 77 minutes, but their lack of clarity in the final third betrayed them: aimless crosses, speculative shots, and poor timing in runs. Chelsea's resilience shone. Sanchez made routine but vital saves, Chalobah dominated aerial duels, and Cucurella threw himself into blocks. Still, Benfica sensed blood. Mourinho prowled the touchline, incensed enough to draw a yellow card from the referee. 5. Key tactical themes. Chelsea's midfield dependence. Fernandes and Caicedo were the lifeblood. Without them progressing play, Chelsea looked blunt. Once Fernandes dropped deeper after the red card, Chelsea had zero creative thrust. Benfica's predictability. Slow, predictable possession, centered on horizontal circulation. Pavlidis starved of service, Lukebakio ineffective against Cucurella, Sudakov forced wide rather than central. Game of errors, not genius. The only goal was an accident. Benfica's inability to punish Chelsea's numerical disadvantage highlighted their lack of killer instinct. 6. Individual performances. Chelsea. Garnacho, energy and persistence created the decisive moment. Caicedo shielded the defense tirelessly, crucial after going down to 10 men. Chalobah vs Badiashile, imperious in the air, disciplined in positioning. João Pedro, foolish sending off nearly cost his side. Benfica. Rios, the tragic figure, own goal defined the night. Otamendi vs Silva, solid in duels but unable to step into midfield. Sudakov, flickers of creativity but forced wide too often. Pavlidis, worked hard, fed scraps, couldn't alter outcome. 7. Psychological v managerial layers. Chelsea, Maresca. Relief more than pride. His side looked technically limited and structurally nervous after the red card. But resilience and defensive commitment carried them through, a moral boost but also a tactical warning. Benfica, Mourinho. For a man built on pragmatism, this was a bitter pill, controlling possession, facing 10 men, yet failing to capitalize. Mourinho's fury at the referee reflected frustration not only at decisions but at his team's impotence. 8. Wider implications. Chelsea, 3 points and a clean sheet in Europe, but questions remain about attacking efficiency and João Pedro's discipline. Their margin for error in future games is razor-thin. Benfica, a costly defeat defined by an own goal. Mourinho's men showed structure but not substance. Without sharper execution in the final third, they risk group stage stagnation. 9. Final verdict. Chelsea 1-0 Benfica will be remembered less for brilliance and more for suffering and survival. It was a contest where an accident decided the scoreline, and where Chelsea's grit under duress outweighed Benfica's sterile dominance. Chelsea, determined, flawed, fortunate. Benfica, structured, wasteful, punished. The night belonged not to artistry, but to error, and to Chelsea's resilience in the face of adversity. Subscribe to this channel for more in-depth analysis of selected games played across Europe.